Okay, from Bangalore, let's now head to Kolkata, where a spirited war of words has broken out between the BJP and the TMC over Justice Gangopadhyay. 24 hours ago, ladies and gentlemen, we had told you about the controversial judge of the Calcutta High Court quitting and joining the BJP. It was an educated guess, and turns out that it is exactly what has happened. I mean, where could a Mamta Beta go but the BJP? No brainer there. Many people, of course, now will look back at his outbursts and TV interviews against the TMC and say that the writing was on the wall, and maybe it was. But the manner in which the saga has played out, ladies and gentlemen, raises big questions and some concerns. Justice Abhijit Gangopadhyay, today after walking out of the courtroom, openly admitted that he had been in talks with the BJP for almost a week now. He's on track to getting a Lok Sabha ticket and says that it is only a matter of a few more arrests before the TMC breaks up. The TMC, in turn, is asking if that is why he was passing orders against the TMC netas and sending them to jail. They say he was all along doing a hit job for the BJP.
Maybe on 7th. Maybe on 7th in the afternoon. There is a tentative program when I'll join BJP.
Now, fact is, Mr. Gangopadhyay was a vocal critic of the Trinamool Congress while he was still in office. He had no qualms expressing his personal views against the ruling government despite being a judge, as was evident in a TV interview where he targeted Abhishek Banerjee. Now wearing his political hat, Abhijit Gangopadhyay has only amplified his attack on the TMC. Listen in.
এই মুহূর্তে রাজ্যের রাজনীতিতে তৃণমূল বলে যে দলটি আছে সেটা সম্পূর্ণ একটি দুষ্কৃতীদের দল। এটাকে কোনো পলিটিক্যাল পার্টি বলে আমি মনে করি না। এটা একটা যাত্রা পার্টি, পলিটিক্যাল পার্টি নয়। যাত্রা পার্টি যেমন বিবেক থাকে, তাদের তেমন বিবেক আছে।
Now, all along, the TMC has been calling Justice Gangopadhyay the BJP's puppet. Now that Mr. Gangopadhyay has confirmed that he's joining the BJP, the TMC is only intensifying its attack on him. They're calling his language as a judge as that of a roadside goon. In fact, the TMC is going on to call Mr. Gangopadhyay the most useless judge of the Calcutta High Court. Their words, not mine. Listen in.
কিন্তু ওনার অভ্যাসই হচ্ছে সব সময় যাকে ইচ্ছে যা ইচ্ছা কমেন্ট করা। তাহলে ওনার মান, ওনার শিক্ষা, ওনার সংস্কৃতি সম্পূর্ণভাবে প্রমাণিত হয় যে ওনার শিক্ষা সংস্কৃতি নিয়ে। উনি আমার সম্বন্ধে বলেছেন আমার অরিজিন কি, তাই তো? কিন্তু তাহলে তো আমার বাবা মাকে নিয়ে প্রশ্ন তুলছে, আমার ফ্যামিলি নিয়ে প্রশ্ন তুলছে। তা যে লোকটা আমার বাবা মাকে নিয়ে প্রশ্ন তোলে, আমার ফ্যামিলি নিয়ে প্রশ্ন তোলে, তার শিক্ষা সংস্কৃতি কোন জায়গায় গেছে আপনারা জানেন? অপদার্থ জজ ছিল।
Let me go straight across to Dushyant Dave, who's a senior advocate. He's also a former president of the Supreme Court Bar Association, joining us on the broadcast. We'll be going to our guests in the next 5 to 6 minutes after I finish speaking to Mr. Dave. Mr. Dave, good evening, and thank you very much for your time here on Mirror Now. Yes. Okay, let me start by asking you what you make of Justice Gangopadhyay's step. He was a sitting judge of the Calcutta High Court, suddenly says, I'm quitting, and next day goes on and joins the BJP and now is in line to get a Lok Sabha election. Now, many people will say it's not unconstitutional. They'll also say there's precedent. They'll also say it's not illegal. While it is not unconstitutional and illegal, is it moral in your view? And if not, then why?
Well, you are right. I mean, and no judge can be prohibited from really entering into politics once he resigns or once he has retired. But the question is of propriety. Independence of judiciary is the, benchmark of our constitution. In fact, independence of judiciary is the basic structure of the constitution. And to maintain that basic structure, to ensure, you have to make sure that the judiciary remains apart from the executive as far as possible. Now, you are right that there are a large number of instances, starting with Chief Justice Meherchand Mahajan, Justice Rao, Justice Hidayatullah, Justice K.S. Hegde, and Behirul Islam, Krishna Iyer. Many of them joined politics. I would say to that extent, it was improper. But what is happening in last few years is something which is really shocking. It virtually amounts to judicial corruption, which is so writ large, starting with judges like Chief Justice Sadasivam, who decides a case in favor of a very powerful politician, becomes a governor. Chief Justice Gogoi, who is accused of sexual harassment and decides many cases in favor of the current government and becomes a Rajya Sabha MP or nominated by the government of India. Justice Nazir, who was party to the Ayodhya judgment, he suddenly becomes, a governor of Andhra Pradesh. These are instances of clear quid pro quo. To my mind, these are cases of clear corruption. If you are, if Supreme Court is sermonizing the MPs and MLAs for having, having given votes after taking money, then Supreme Court should also be watchful about its own brothers and sisters who are doing this kind of open, I would say, impropriety, illegality. And it's really disgusting to see that these judges can be rewarded and are being rewarded by the party in power so openly. There was a committed judiciary in 70s and 80s, and it was not right. I'm not for a moment, saying that they were good. They were bad. But what is happening today now in current period is something which is unparalleled, it is unacceptable, and it should never have happened in the history of India's judiciary. It really strikes at the independence of judiciary, which is, according to me, these examples, including this Calcutta judge, clearly shows that independence of judiciary is really a matter of past.
Okay, you're saying the independence of judiciary as it stands right now is a complete myth. Can I then ask you, Dushyant Dave, and I'm going to quote what Sanjay Hegde said on the show yesterday. He said what Justice Gangopadhyay has done essentially is prostituting judiciary to earn a Lok Sabha ticket. Is that how you view the entire saga, the entire affair as well? Because, there are many people who are listening who will say, Arey, but he quit. He's a citizen of this country, and he, like every other citizen of this country, has a right to have a political affiliation and fight an election if he wishes to.
Well, I won't use the words that Sanjay Hegde did, but what I would definitely say is that there is something very sinister about these judges, starting with Sadasivam, Gogoi, Nazir, and Gangopadhyay. We don't know. It is impossible for us citizens to know whether they were talking to the party in power while they were sitting as judges and deciding all those cases in favor of powerful politicians and the government, and making all kinds of utterances. I mean, Justice Gangopadhyay's utterances were not only unparliamentary, but they were absolutely unacceptable from any angle. Sitting on the bench. I mean, you may have views about a particular individual. Nothing wrong about it. But as a judge, you do not make those expressions, which expression showed that he was definitely in league with party in power, and he was against a party in power in state of West Bengal. Now, this, according to me, raises a very, very serious, alarming situation that what kind of judiciary we are having today, where judges are openly hobnobbing with party in power and are in contact with them. We won't be able to know to what extent they were in contact, to what extent, they were being, they were compromising with the party in power and the powerful politicians. But the fact remains that you have decided cases in favor of the party in power or the powerful politicians, and you have been rewarded. These are clear cases of quid pro quo, and they amount to judicial corruption, in my opinion. And all these judges, frankly, someday we must consider whether these judges should be tried, prosecuted or not. If you are going to prosecute politicians and bureaucrats for accepting bribes in any manner, then this is nothing but accepting bribes in clear forms, be it membership of Rajya Sabha or governorship or things like that. To my mind, these cases have raised very alarming situation in today's independent judiciary. And I don't think, it is going to stop here. The way judges are being appointed today and the way judges are conducting themselves openly, there are judges who are so biased in the Supreme Court and other high courts that they only decide cases in favor of party in power. Now, naturally, once they will retire, they will all be rewarded. Now, this kind of an open bias was never seen in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s. Today, what we are witnessing is certainly a judiciary which is, I think, really towing the line of the party in power and the powerful politicians. It's unfortunate. I mean, as being a lawyer for 46 years and somebody who really respects and admires and loves judiciary, for me, I think these are very sad events. But what can we do? Citizens are not able to understand what's happening. And nobody within the profession is really, these are issues which Bar Council of India or the bar associations of various courts must take up. They must condemn this behavior. But that's not happening. So this is something where, independence of judiciary is being lost. And once that is lost, rule of law is lost, constitutional morality is lost. And I think democracy will be seriously compromised. It is compromised. It's getting compromised every day. And Gangopadhyay is only the last of the many examples which are going to follow in years to come.
Okay, Mr. Dave, you're leaving us with a rather cynical worldview of what's going on with India's judiciary. You are saying that judicial independence, as it stands right now, is a myth. We leave it there for the moment, Mr. Dave. Thank you very much for your time and your perspective here on Mirror Now.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you on the show. Thank you very much. Let me introduce my guest to you this evening. Rajshri Lahiri, spokesperson of the BJP. Ashwini Dubey is advocate of the Supreme Court. I think he's running a little late. That's what my producer is telling me. Dr. Rijju Dutta is spokesperson of the TMC. Aditya Pratap is an advocate. He is joining us on the broadcast as well. Who should I start with? For obvious reasons, Mr. Rajshri Lahiri, I will start with you. Good evening. I hope you are doing well. Yesterday, we were all wondering whether the predictions we are making on the show are correct or not. Turns out the predictions were absolutely right. You have a very respected voice from the legal world, Dushyant Dave, saying that this is nothing but corruption in the higher judiciary. This is judicial corruption that should be punished. How is Justice Gangopadhyay getting a ticket from the BJP? Why should anyone not consider it a bribe from the BJP to a man who decided many cases against the TMC? ये तो quid pro quo का मामला है पूरा, Rajshri Lahiri.
I heard a senior advocate. Probably is not aware of the situation that's going over here in West Bengal and about the cases which Justice Gangopadhyay was dealing with. It's all about the scams of the Trinamool Congress. When nobody knew him, when all the cases went to him and he started delivering his verdicts, his observations and everything. And he became a messiah of the entire people who were deprived of their jobs, the SSC and the different government jobs and all, whose jobs were sold out, or in Trinamool Congress, MLAs, their family members of the MLAs, they received those jobs, they got jobs. Nobody knows out of what all those things were that came up, and MLA's daughter were also asked to, leave that job and all. Now the question is that, first of all, there is no legal foundations. Nothing is stated in the constitution that you cannot leave your job and join a political party. Secondly, does this mean that all the scams that had happened in West Bengal, the amount of money that was recovered from a minister's girlfriend's house, 52 crores, 11 kilos of gold, a Trinamool Congress MLA and a minister whose office was raided, an unaccounted fixed deposit of 10 crores was found out. His daughter has a balance of 3.5 crores, which is stated to have been earned by
Mr. Lahiri.
tuition. Now, it does not mean that all these things have not happened. Corruption in West Bengal has not happened by the Trinamool Congress. For 1,000 days, these students,
Mr. Lahiri,
these job seekers...
I'm not even questioning. I am not even questioning whether corruption in West Bengal has happened or not. All of us have seen those wads of notes coming out of the residential property that you're talking about. And of course, corruption has happened. I'm not denying that for 1 minute. But I am asking you, is it okay in the BJP's books to be liaising and talking to a sitting judge of the Calcutta High Court before he has, by the way, quit, and offering him a party ticket?
And the party has
Is it
not yet
proper? Now
offered
again
him
you
a
will say it's not illegal?
The
And
party
if it
has
is,
not yet offered
and
him a
of
ticket.
course, of course.
No,
No,
no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no, no.
but just a
Party
minute,
has
just a
not
minute.
yet
Have
offered
you
him a
heard,
ticket.
एक minute, Mr. Lahiri, have you heard the press conference today? Okay, it will
Absolutely.
eventually
He
offer
has-
him a ticket,
he
but did you
has
hear his press
clearly-
conference? है ना?
He has
Yeah,
clearly
so what
stated. Party
has he
has
said
not
in his
yet
press
decided.
conference? He has said that in the last 7 days, I was in touch with the BJP and the BJP was in touch with us. So it is kosher for a political party to be in touch with a sitting High Court judge and offering him a ticket, right? It's okay. Is it
Number
okay
one,
in the BJP's books and your books, Mr.
let,
Lahiri?
let me finish. Number one, he has not yet been declared any ticket, offered any ticket. No decision has been taken. Secondly, in the last 7 days, the justice himself has stated that I have not been sitting in his court for last 7 days as well. That has also been stated. Now the question is that there are empty number of such examples in India wherein judges have joined a political party, fought, contested an election. Now what you said that you
Okay.
are not saying corruption
We know
has
that.
happened.
And
Let me finish.
Our
Let me
viewers,
finish, Shreya.
So no.
Let me just
No,
one
no.
line.
ठीक है. Let others come in. Let other come. Okay. Go ahead. Finish. 20 seconds. Finish, and then I'll get the TMC spokesperson. Go ahead.
He has not been attending his courtroom for last 7 days, and now there have been examples in India before him, and the corruption that has happened, he has delivered justice, and he's not even one. He's not the single judge in whose courtroom these scams are being now. These court cases are running. There are so many. Justice
Dr.
Amrita
Riju
Sinha,
Dutta. Okay.
Rajshekhar Manta,
Dr. Riju Dutta.
Biswajit Babu. So many judges are there.
Okay.
So these cases will start
I'm
running.
looking at the propriety of what has happened. It's not illegal, as I said. Dr. Riju Dutta, come in here. Essentially, the BJP spokesperson is saying this. The BJP spokesperson is saying, look, the love affair is not a love affair that started 2 years ago. The love affair between Justice Gangopadhyay and the BJP only started 7 days ago, and they decided to elope. Therefore, he quit and he joined the BJP. ऐसा नहीं है कि इनका बहुत पुराना रिश्ता and that he has been delivering the verdicts that he has been under the influence and guidance of the BJP.
Shreya, let me start off by quoting you, late Shri Arun Jaitley ji, what he said on the floor of the parliament. And I quote him, the desire of a post-retirement job influences pre-retirement judgments. It's a threat to the independence of the judiciary. And once it influences pre-retirement judgments, it adversely impacts the functioning of the judiciary itself. We are taking this, I cannot call him Justice Ganguly, Injustice Ganguly, his words that he has been in touch with the BJP for the last 7 days. Who knows? I am saying it on record as the spokesperson of TMC. We are going to go to the apex court and challenge every single of his judgments because he has casted those aspersions. He is a judge who has not only abused, but he has insulted the chair of a judge. A sitting judge in the High Court openly admits that for the last 7 days, I was in touch with the primary opposition party who's going to give me a ticket to contest the upcoming elections. There cannot be more proof of judicial corruption. He should be prosecuted by the Supreme Court collegium. And there are multiple examples like Ranjan Gogoi, Ajay Krishna Vishwasa, or B. Chitambaresh, or P. Satasivam, or P. N. Ravindran. There is no official cooling off period, but what he has accepted on his own, just for that a sitting judge talking to the primary political opponent party, looking over the most sensitive of the matters, pronouncing judgments, and let me make this very clear. From the chair of a sitting judge, he has made personal comments about the Chief Minister of the state. He has made personal comments about the National General Secretary of Trinamool Congress, Abhijit Gangopadhyay, against whom Abhijit Gangopadhyay has already filed a PIL in the Supreme Court before. So now taking everything into consideration, anybody, a 5-year-old boy can say that the judiciary has been saffronized by the BJP and Mr. Abhijit Ganguly was working on behalf of the BJP in return of illegal favors. Absolutely crystal clear. And we are going to take him to the apex court and we will make sure this fellow gets prosecuted.
Okay, so you're saying that you are going to take Justice Ganguly, or as you're calling him, Injustice Ganguly, to the Supreme Court and challenge each of his verdicts. Here's my question to you, Dr. Rijju Dutta. You may accuse the BJP, you may accuse Justice Gangopadhyay of doing a hit job on behalf of the BJP. That's what you're accusing them of. But by all of us as citizens have seen how Partha Chatterjee worked. We have all seen wads of notes coming out from his residence. What are we to believe? Are we to believe that TMC leaders are absolutely clean and therefore Justice Gangopadhyay was brought in by the BJP to deliberately target the TMC? Arey bhai, aapke log corrupt hain, to a sitting judge will call out that corruption and send the corrupt to jail, na?
Correct. Now, Shreya, first question is, why are you calling him Justice Ganguly? Why? Call him Abhijit Ganguly. He's no more a justice.
Okay.
Abhijit Ganguly.
Okay, I'll call him Mr. Ganguly. Okay.
Yes,
I'll call him Mr. Ganguly. Go ahead.
Call him Mr. Ganguly, Abhijit Ganguly, that's your decision. Don't call him Justice Ganguly. Second point.
Gangopadhyay.
If he is the so-called flag bearer of, anti-corruption, he is so-called the messiah of people against anti-corruption. Do you know he gave an interview to another news channel where he said, "Oh, you say that Shubhendu Adhikari is corrupted. He took money in paper packets. How do you know what was there inside?" But here the funny point is, that video of Shubhendu taking 5 lakh rupees in the Naroda scam was actually brought into public notice by the BJP when Shubhendu was in TMC. Now, he tomorrow will sit next to Shubhendu Adhikari, who is ED and CBI charge sheet mentioned in the Naroda scam, and he's going to defend Shubhendu Adhikari. Can you imagine how corrupt this man is, both politically and morally? Can you imagine how he has disgraced, abused and insulted the chair of a sitting judge? Do you think there is any place for him, forget Indian politics, any place for him in this country other than behind prison doors? He should be in prison. He should be in prison.
Okay. Rajshri Lahiri, would you want to come in here?
Yeah. One-liner. Number one, that the point that he was talking about, Arun Jaitley, was specifically about judges and all retiring and joining a government position immediately. It was the observation of Arun Jaitley was regarding
even that
taking
is
up a
quid pro
government
quo.
position, a government post.
That is quid pro quo.
Yeah,
that is quid pro quo.
The second part.
In fact, there should be a cooling period.
Yeah,
there should be a cooling period when when justices of the Supreme Court and the High Court retire. There should be a 2-year cooling period. That before you accept a political party's Lok Sabha ticket or Rajya Sabha ticket or a governor's position, let there be a period of 2 years.
Now the second point. Probably
there should be one.
The Trinamool spokesperson has forgotten about what was done to Justice Rajshekhar Mantha. Rajshekhar Mantha has not joined any political party, but when he delivered a verdict against Trinamool Congress, posters were put up in front of his house. So this precedence was never there. Apart from Communist Party only saying Amitabh Lala Bangla Chhede Pala. Justice Amitabh Lala during CPM's regime was asked to leave Bengal. Apart from that, this was a second instance during Trinamool's regime. Justice Bishwajit Bosu, Justice Amrita Sinha, all these judges have delivered verdicts against Trinamool Congress and corruption. And also, let me tell you, Shreya, all Abhijit Ganguly's judgments, they were challenged in Supreme Court by the Trinamool Congress government. And Supreme Court ruled out
true, but all the justices you are talking about have not got a BJP ticket, na?
Absolutely.
No, you are saying that there are other judges in the Calcutta High Court that have also delivered judgments against the TMC.
Absolutely.
This has nothing
to do with the scams that
the BJP is saying.
Congress cannot disagree that
the BJP is saying. The BJP is essentially arguing that Justice Gangopadhyay did what he did as a sitting justice of the Calcutta High Court. And the fact that he's got a BJP ticket has got nothing to do with what he did till 24 hours ago or 48 hours ago.
Well, see, when we see the prevailing legal regime, there is no provision for a waiting period as such. Contesting elections is the fundamental, is the constitutional right of and legal right of every person in this country. He's at liberty to quit his seat and contest elections. Number two, whatever Justice Gangopadhyay thinks in his personal capacity, that is separate from his capacity when he sits on the chair. Remember, when a person sits on the chair, he is a separate person compared to what he's in his other personal life. So I think it would not be correct to essentially superimpose Justice Gangopadhyay's views with what he did on the bench. Just as when a member of parliament speaks in parliament, he votes in parliament, he cannot be held to account for that. Same applies for a judge also. As a judge, from the fact of the record, it is evident that he has passed judgments in major cases. Clearly, West Bengal, as we can see, in West Bengal, the political situation is not very benign. We have heinous accused persons whom the West Bengal police is refusing to hand over. You know, even though it might be an overstatement, but the constitutional machinery in West Bengal does not appear to be in its prime. Clearly, there's something not correct with. So obviously, now understand as a judge, now I don't want to go into what are the deliberations at the bench, but many a time judges know for a fact that they cannot make policy. They only have judicial powers. They have no administrative powers. And they decide the issues in the cases in front of them in accordance with the law. Now, what Justice Gangopadhyay has done is purely his personal decision. You cannot sit on the bench and contest elections. You know, contest elections, any person can contest. There is no waiting period. There's no holding period. He has put in his papers and done it. Now,
no, Aditya Pratap, that's fine. That is fine. That is fine. And again, as I'm saying, is there a constitutional bar on a sitting judge of the Calcutta High Court or any High Court quitting and joining politics, joining a political party? No. It's not against the law, but is it moral that while you're in chair for 7 days, you've been talking to the BJP about getting a ticket? Right? Obviously, questions will be raised whether all the judgments that have come in the last 2 years against the TMC, whether they were influenced and guided by the BJP. Obviously, these questions will come now, na?
No. See, but the point is
essentially what you have done is compromised. You compromised on the independence of the judiciary.
I straight away say the High Court passes an order, go challenge it to the Honorable Supreme Court. You know, whatever the judge might do. See, we are concerned with what the judge does when he sits on the chair, when he sits on the bench. And, you know, and it would not be outside the court.
But when he sits on the bench.
Yes. And,
but when a judge sits on the bench, is he influenced? Is he influenced by his political alliances / allegiance? Well, in this case, we don't know. That's the allegation that is coming in from the TMC. They are saying they'll challenge it in court. So we'll see how the Supreme Court reacts. But for the moment, I'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you, Aditya Pratap, for joining us. Dr. Rijju Dutta, thank you. Rachi Lahiri, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, up next, we are discussing the curious case of the SBI's sealed envelopes. What's inside those sealed envelopes? That's coming up next. For the moment, I'm thanking my guests and taking a very quick break.